Well, hello there. Are you interested in being my friend? Sure. Well, say no more, cause I have this piece of paper called friendship, and you're gonna take it and you're gonna like it. Oh, and it's a price of your boots, and you'll have the blessing of friendship. I'll think about it. Well, you're gonna like it. Anyway, Grian is calling me, so bye. Well, hello there. I want to be your friend. Well, that's the spirit. So yeah, Third Life. The series where Grian slowly loses his mind, Scar and his great interest with friendship. That is totally not a scam. And B-dubs with his tiny castle.
Okay,
And we
that
can
little
fire
thing
down.
over there.
Very funny! It's you!
So anyway, in our previous Third Life explained video, we discussed the different factions and the territories and leverage with one another. But this time, we'll be focusing on the alliances, or what Scar calls as friendship, or reputation points of each players in Third Life. But before we discuss the alliances, let us have a quick recap on the new changes in the factions and the territories during the week 3 and 4 in the server. Starting with the Hobbit people. So, the Hobbit people, composing of Scott and Jimmy, recently acquired the first fully built enchanting area in the server for level 30 enchants. They also began erecting their walls to protect their settlement from outsiders, especially with the threat of red people now in their Third Life. Next up, we have the newly made faction of the Swamp people, formerly known as the Village people. So, the Swamp people in the beginning stages settled in a Plains village south of the server. But then, Ito discovered this huge swamp up north and kinda wants to become Shrek. So, together with Impulse and Tango, they settled up north and founded the new faction of the Swamp people, constructing the Wolf Fortress as their main base of operations. This faction is arguably the richest and most powerful faction at the moment, due to their vast amount of resources, the discovery of diamonds under clay block patches, enchanted books from villager trading, Tango's cow farm, and the only faction who has a horse. If the Swamp people were left unnoticed, it will be only a matter of time they will become literally unstoppable. Especially Ito, which is feared by many and considered to be a wild card. Next up, we have the Sand people, living in the newly renamed area of the Red Desert. So, the Sand people are what most of the server players considered as the most chaotic and dangerous people. They have been fortifying their lands and securing their monopoly of sand and recently a creeper farm that will be very destructive for making TNT. If left unchecked, the superior firepower will definitely be a great leverage against the other factions. With their hostile nature, the faction already claimed 3 lives in the attempted siege in the Kingdom of Dogwarts, which actually failed. But then, Jimmy yeeted himself in the trap and kinda blew up, along with Rendog and Schizoman. Yeah, mission failed successfully. And now, the Sand people set their eyes in sieging the precious castle of the Castle people, in retaliation against Zombie Cleo for kidnapping Scar's pet llama, Pizza. Next up, we have the Kingdom of Dogwarts, ruled by the self-proclaimed king, Rendog, and his hand or assistant, Martin. So, Dogwarts, formerly known as Enchanting, fortified themselves on top of the mountains to protect themselves from foreign invaders. They recently acquired 2 villagers from the Swamp people, and have a secret joint monopoly of Netherwarts together with the Hobbit people. And finally, our last faction is the Castle people. So basically, the main members of the Castle faction are B-dubs and Cleo. But it is also part of a greater faction known as the Eastern Faction Alliance, formed by the former Village people members Tango Tech and Impulse. The faction have very unique weapons such as piercing crossbows equipped with deep harming arrows, which can cause a lot of damage in a player's health. With the factions aside, let's now talk about the alliances or the friendship of each member in Third Life. Starting with our first group of people, Scar and Grian of the Sand faction. So, Scar and Grian are known to be very chaotic and have committed certain attempts in causing chaos around the server. Their faction is pretty much feared by all Third Life members, and their relations with the other members are pretty sour, especially with the Kingdom of Dogwarts and the Crassel faction. Scar also introduced his friendship system, known as reputation points, and it went something like this. Hi Ito, nice boots. Do you want to be my friend? Well, say no more. With the price of only your boots, you can claim this piece of paper, that is totally not a scam, and gain plus 100 reputation in Monopoly Mountain. What now? So, Scar had been going around the server, sharing the goodness of his friendship to other people through reputation points, in exchange for something precious, like armor, diamonds, or even cats. The current alliances are the Red Desert Alliance, Grian's First Life Oath with Scar, Ito and Scar Friendship Pact, Smallish Beans and Scar Friendship Pact, and the Impulse and Scar Friendship Pact. Next group, we have Ito, Impulse, and Tango of the Swamp faction. So, this group is literally friends with everyone on the server. There may be a few hiccups between Ito and B-Dubs with his Crassel, but so far, they're basically friends with everyone on the server. Ito have a pact of friendship with the Kingdom of Dogwarts for providing them villagers in exchange for their lifetime enchanting services. The current alliances are Swamp Alliance, Eastern Alliance, Ito and Dogwarts Friendship Pact, Ito and Scar Friendship Pact, Ito and Smallish Beans Crassel Siege, Team Crassel Alliance. Next group, we have King Rendog and In the Littlewood of the Dogwarts faction. This faction has been very helpful to most of the server members, especially in the eastern side. They have a unique friendship with Ito and part of the greater Eastern Alliance. But the relations with the Sand people are pretty rough, that it resulted to a siege in Dogwarts by the Sand faction, causing 3 casualties. Their current alliances are Enchanting Alliance, Ito and Dogwarts Friendship Pact, Eastern Alliance, Fantastico. Next group, we have Smager and Jimmy of the Hobbit faction. Their relations from the other Third Life members are pretty neutral. The formed Fantastico Alliance from the Dark Oak sapling greatly improved their relations in most of the server members. Their current alliances are the Hobbit or Marriage Alliance between Solidarity and Smager, Fantastico, Red Desert Alliance. Next up, B-Dubs and Cleo of the Crassel faction are in good terms with the eastern side of the server, especially with the factions of Dogwarts and the Swamp. But they got into trouble with the Sand faction due to Cleo stealing pizza from Scar, causing tensions between the factions. An attempt of the Sand people to siege the Crassel will be very likely to happen. The current alliances are Team Crassel Alliance and Eastern Alliance. And also, there are individual independent members such as Smallish Beans, who's located on top of the Deadbush Hill. He pretty much isolated himself from the rest of the server, with constant interactions with Ito and the Sand faction. But his relations with the nearby faction of the Crassel people are pretty sour, since he was part of the attempted siege of the Crassel, instigated by Ito. His current alliances are Fantastico, Ito and Smallish Beans Crassel Siege Pact, and Smallish Beans and Scar Friendship Pact. Schizzleman, now in his third life, pretty much also isolated himself from the rest of the server, in fear of losing his third life. He settled in the middle of the server to stay neutral from the other factions. His current alliances are Schizzle and Dogwarts Friendship Pact, an Eastern Alliance, and the mutual friendship between the Swamp people, especially Impulse and Tango. And finally, Big B is known to be a nomad and rarely appears from the other people in the server. He finally settled his base on top of a mountain near the borders of the Kingdom of Dogwarts. His current alliances are the 100% reputation in Sandland.
Very funny! It's you!